RT host Abby Martin did something really brave given her employment situation. Listen to what she did at the end of her show, then I'll explain why it's impressive.
Before the crisis in Ukraine and Russia's military occupation of Crimea, just because I work here for RT doesn't mean I don't have editorial independence. And I can't stress enough how strongly I am against any state intervention in a sovereign nation's affairs. What Russia did is wrong. I admittedly don't know as much as I should about Ukraine's history or the cultural dynamics of the region, but what I do know is that military intervention is never the answer. And I will not sit here and apologize or defend military aggression. Furthermore, the coverage I've seen of Ukraine has been truly disappointing from all sides of the media spectrum and rife with disinformation. Above all, my heart goes out to the Ukrainian people who are now wedged as pawns in the middle of a global power chess game. They're the real losers here. All we can do now is hope for a peaceful outcome for a terrible situation and prevent another full-blown Cold War between multiple superpowers. Until then, I'll keep telling the truth as I see it. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you back here to break the set tomorrow.
Well done, Abby Martin. Bravo. Brava. Is that how you say? No, it's not brava for a girl, is it? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that was really brave of her because RT is funded by the Kremlin. They're funded by the Russian government. And she's like, yeah, Russian government, fuck off. Why are you invading Ukraine? That makes no sense. Thank you, and exit stage left. You are now fired, Abby Martin. But well done standing up for what's right and what's just and what we know makes sense. So, it's fascinating, man. It's fascinating. I'm really curious what's going to happen next, because supposedly there was another article on Raw Story earlier that talks about a Russian professor who spoke out against the Russian government and what they're doing in Ukraine. He got fired. Fired almost immediately. That was according to the son or the daughter of the professor. So they're not fucking around. It is an authoritarian regime. If you speak out against them, done. Didn't they recently fired a host who came out as gay on air? Because they have, they're viciously anti-gay in Russia now. So I think it was Putin. The call came down from the Kremlin. Some guy had a TV show. It was a popular TV show. He came out as gay. They said, you're done. So there's a good chance she just gets fired now as a result of this. I mean, insane, which makes it's beyond brave. Like, she really deserves a lot of credit for what she did there. But this also speaks to a broader issue, and that is that corporate media, or not just corporate media, obviously corporate media or media that's funded by any different governments, whether it's Al Jazeera, which is funded primarily by, the Saudi government? It's funded by some government in the Middle East. But in many ways, they'll do good. So RT has done a lot of good reporting on certain things in America because it's the Russian government funding it, so you could be more objective about America. But then, there's a blind spot with issues like she just brought up there for the most part. There's also a blind spot in, any evils that the Assad regime does. They won't talk about it because that's their ally. And it's a nuanced picture there. Assad's not the only bad guy. I mean, the rebel movement is also full of Al-Qaeda and jihadists, so it's a mixed picture, but it shows you that there's going to be bias anywhere you go. If you go to RT, there's that slight bias of the Russian government. If you go toward, to Al Jazeera, there's a different kind of bias. If you go towards, in the U.S., the big corporations, there's going to be a bias in favor of the rich corporate owners. So where do you go? Where do you go for news that's objective? Where do you go for news that's just, factual and dry and straightforward? Well, I mean, the only things that are really left are places like The Guardian, which is set up in an interesting way. It's got, its own trust fund, and it's not relying on anything for funding. You have BBC is the same kind of situation there. So maybe those places you go. Print outlets usually do a great job, like actual newspapers or places online like Huffington Post, Think Progress. But other than that, you're asked out. You got to go to alternative media to get real shit. And that's where we step in. Not to toot our own horn, but it's, places like SecularTalk, Sam Cedar, Tom Hartman, Mike Papantonio, The Young Turks, David Pakman Show. I mean, you name it. We are the people who, it's all us. We do the hard legwork to figure out the truth of what's going on. We read all the articles and trudge through all the bullshit, try to make it entertaining and present it to you guys, and you can bet your ass, for us, it's no holds barred. I don't have to answer to anybody. Anybody ever. I make all the editorial decisions and production decisions and what I do cover versus what I don't cover, what's important versus what's not important. So there's no filter here.